Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about when others try to control you. And I want to talk about this from two perspectives, from the person who is trying to be controlled by somebody and then the person who is trying to control someone else. So just stick with me throughout this video. I want to try to get everything out in a coherent way because this just came to my mind right now. But there's a lot of people who will try to control you, physically, emotionally, mentally, all these different things. And there's so many layers and levels to it, right? Because you have people in your life trying to control you, maybe your family members. You have, if you're in school or if you're a child, you might have like teachers trying to control what you're doing and what you're learning. It's like a lot of life is about control, and we are not necessarily taught how to control ourselves. I would say the general masses aren't really taught how to control ourselves, how to control our emotions. So when you have other people trying to control you for so long, and then you finally wake up and say, wait, I'm in control, you're going to start to notice things. You're going to start to notice people do things or say things to control you. You're going to start to notice, maybe times in the past where you've tried controlling other people, maybe intentionally or unintentionally. And it really makes you think. And I think I want to hit on a place about emotions. I'm on a big emotion wave right now because I just think that it's super important. It controls your reality. It controls everything. Emotions are energy in motion. So we know this. We know that whatever you think and whatever you feel is going to be reflected in reality. So that's why controlling your emotions and understanding them and being aware of them is so important so that you can take control. But one thing that I've noticed on my journey, I'll start with others trying to control me, is that I feel like sometimes you'll have people who might get upset or they might be sensitive to something, and then they want you to also feel how they feel. And that is a red flag. And I'm not saying you have to completely ignore people who do things like that or cut them out of your life, because it might be unintentional, but you just become more aware. When you start to become more aware of your own emotions, you really become aware of the emotions and actions of others too. And you really have to work to not project and not judge too harshly, because you were once in that position as well. But you will have people who will try to control you. They want you to be upset because they're upset. They want you to be angry because they're angry. They want you to feel some type of way because they feel some type of way. And it's very important that you protect your energy and that you don't fall into those little daily traps. And this could be anybody. It could be a stranger. It could be a family member. It could be a friend. I've had this happen on multiple scales, and I'll give a couple of examples. So, let's say that you're going out to eat with a friend or something like that, and the waiter or the waitress is just not doing a really good job, and the food is coming out late, and it's just, you don't really feel like you're getting good service, or they don't feel like they're getting good service. And so they spend the entire time complaining. Maybe it was supposed to be quality time where you guys were supposed to catch up and, just grab dinner, but they spend the entire time complaining and upset because things aren't going how they're supposed to go. And so they want you to be upset as well. So it's just you kind of have to notice that and set some boundaries, or either try to be positive, or maybe make a note, or maybe once you're out of that situation, let them know hey, it really kind of bums me out when you get upset about things that we can't control. Let's just still try to have a good time, etc., or whatever, right? A way that this can happen with strangers is if let's say you're waiting in line at the bank, it's taking longer than usual. The person in front of you wants to get $1 million in ones, and then they start complaining and getting frustrated because they have somewhere to be. And then they look to you and want to relate to you through frustration or through some type of emotion that they want to make you feel, or that they want to feel with you, so to speak. And that's very common too. A lot of the times, especially in work settings with coworkers or even with strangers, people like to relate over complaining. And so you have to be really, really careful with that, because it's a slippery slope, in that once you start to relate to people over complaining, it turns into a trend and it turns into a habit. And then you're really just inviting more of that energy in. So that's how I see that perspective, from people trying to control your energy or trying to make you feel some type of way. Those are just small examples, but this can be on any scale. And then ways in the past that I've tried to control other people's emotions is really the same way. If I'm upset about something, I want to complain. I want people to feel me. I want people to hear me. And what I didn't realize was that energy would make other people uncomfortable. It would make people just not want to be around me, because nobody wants to be around someone who can't control their emotions, who is always looking outward or lashing outward in order to get some type of temporary relief from just the own pain that they feel inside. So if you're one of those people, you know, don't feel bad. You know, at least you're aware, at least you know now, but you can always change. And I still work on that daily to change. I'm currently in a situation right now where I have to deal with a lot of people who are sick, who are unhappy, who are upset, who, you know, just don't really understand the power of their thoughts. And it's honestly a lesson because I have to be cognizant on, one, not taking on that energy or not letting them try to control my energy. And then two, it's a lesson on, okay, well, I've been there before. So, you know, I'm a little bit more compassionate towards them and not as quick to judge because I understand those feelings and I understand what it's like to live in a reality where you feel like everybody's out to get you, or you feel like you don't really have control over everything. So you try to control other people and other things and situations that you really can't control. So yeah, that's just something to think about. I think a lot of us, like I said, we do it unintentionally. We do it without really knowing or realizing. And so when you have these moments of awareness, or when you come into, you know, your own journey of just being more aware of your emotions and trying to control them and trying to just understand why you feel that way that you feel, you're going to notice a lot of these things about other people, about yourself. And, you know, you can either take these things and use it as learning lessons and use it as reminders to get to where you want to go or be the person that you want to be, or you can feel bad and ashamed and guilty and just, you know, really get stuck in the same loop, in the same cycle. So again, this video is just, you know, a reminder to myself, a reminder to others to just be cautious about that from both ends, from you trying to control others and then others trying to control you, because it happens a lot. You know, we have governments trying to control us, media trying to control us, family members trying to control us, friends. It's just so much, you know, and it's a lot of pressure, and it's a lot of, it just creates a lot of, I feel like, unnecessary tension that doesn't need to be created. Because when you go through your day feeling like others are controlling you, by the time your day is done, or by the time like you actually sit down with yourself, you feel exhausted. Speaking for myself, it's like I would feel exhausted at the end of my days because I was so just emotionally everywhere that I couldn't control myself. And it would show up in different ways. It would show up in anger, it would show up in sadness, it would show up in, you know, frustration. And so all of those emotions take up a lot of energy. And when you're taking up a lot of energy, then you don't really have time to think, to create, to manifest, to be the best version of yourself. If you're always spending your time and energy on just thinking about negative things, trying to be defensive, trying to protect yourself, trying to, you know, just be super surveillant, trying to not let others do X, Y, Z to you. So it's a lot. It's a lot. It's definitely a journey, something that I'm still learning every day, but hopefully this video could help someone, and hopefully I'm making sense. And yeah, that's just where I'm at right now with emotions. I'm just on a huge emotion kick right now, and it's like, it sucks. It's not fun, honestly. Sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I could go back to how I was before I knew all of this, because it's like you literally just cannot go back. But I know I don't really mean it. I know that, you know, the work that I'm doing and the payoff is just going to provide a better future for me. I'm going to be able to get the things that I want in life. So I don't really feel that way, but damn, in the moments, is it like, oh my God, this is a lot. So anyway, if you're feeling the same way, definitely let me know below. Or, you know, if you've just been noticing the same things, let me know. I would love to hear. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you at the next video. Bye.